Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 4th, 2024 Lackawanna City Council meeting. We always start off with our caucus where the individual agenda items can be discussed amongst the council members, and that formal meeting is where the final votes will be taken. This evening is a very brief agenda. First several items are administrative. We'll dispense with those at the appropriate time. The first item we'll undertake is item number 4 from the city attorney, request city council approve the resolution to have installed license plate reader equipment for law enforcement purposes. The project is funded by 2023 Governor of New York grant for new technology and equipment to prevent and solve crimes, improve public safety, etc. Our city attorney, John Gunn, you want to expound on that?
Sure. The proposed resolution is not to actually have the cameras placed and up. They are already placed and up. The proposed resolution is to have New York State Department of Transportation allow a right-of-way to the city for the equipment on its poles. And that is what we're proposing, because all of these locations listed have poles close to or in the New York State Department of Transportation's right-of-way. So the resolution is asking that the city of Lackawanna will own the cameras and or equipment, and that the resolution is permitting and authorizing the chief of police to sign whatever he has to sign in order to permit those cameras in the appropriate right-of-way. Captain Kukaleka is actually here. Captain, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, city attorney gone. Any council members have any questions or comments on this item?
Yeah, who owns the poles?
So the poles, there's one pole is actually owned by the New York State Department of Transportation, and 5 poles are owned by National Grid. Notwithstanding the ownership of the pole, there are New York State Department of Transportation rights of way pretty much where all of these poles are located, notwithstanding the owner of the actual pole.
So maintenance and I guess service for all of these would be responsibility of the city?
So that is actually through the private company called Flock Security, who previously owned the cameras, but they're turning ownership of the cameras over to the city because New York State Department of Transportation is willing to grant a municipality the permission to use its poles to hang things on, but they're not willing to allow the private company to do so. So Flock Security will continue to maintain and manage the equipment if something happens with the equipment, but technically the city of Lackawanna owns the equipment and they're on utility poles not owned by the city.
Okay, but we would provide like a service fee to Flock, was it Flock City?
Flock Security.
Flock Security, so we would pay a service fee, sort of like a subscription,
Correct.
and then that's also funded. This is a fully funded project,
This was already funded.
so it's no cost to the city, it's already paid through other resources.
My understanding, it's no cost to the city, or it was previously budgeted. Today, literally, despite all of these questions and issues are coming to your attention, it really is just to have the resolution in order to permit the city ownership of this equipment so it can be within New York State right of way.
All right, anyone else?
So are these already operable? They're using them already or what?
Yes, it's my understanding they're in use in the purpose or primary purpose is, let's say there's a bank robbery in the city of Lackawanna, for investigative purposes, you can go and retrieve the data from one of these cameras to see if the vehicle that was identified and what route it may have taken from the bank out of Lackawanna.
Yeah, just like on TV, FBI.
Yeah, see?
Amber alerts, things like
Correct.
Okay, well, thank you, John. If there isn't anyone else, that's the extent of our agenda. I will formally call to the meeting November 4th, 2024 to order. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. City clerk to take the roll.
LaFlamme? Present. Anderson?
Here.
Moretti?
Here.
Sirdike?
Present.
Morano?
Here.
Law Department?
Here.
Development and Marketing is excused. Public Works?
Here.
Public Safety?
Here.
Assistant Comptroller?
Here.
Recreation?
Here.
Hearings from citizens.
We do have two citizens. The first is Erica Evaldi. Would you like to come forward and stand near the podium, and you're welcome to address the council.
Thank you very much for letting me address you. My problem is this. 3 weeks ago, I was almost hit by a car. I was walking on South Park, and I was on the side of Rite Aid, crossing on a red light. Well, the light on Martin Road changed green. I was in the middle of the walkway when a car was coming at me. He was so close to me, I could have touched his fender. I saw him coming at me and I jumped out of the way. Now, the timing for that light is very, very dangerous. If I allow the cars from Martin Road to come to cross over, say there's 3 or 4 cars, then I start crossing South Park, then the light on the other side of South Park turns green, and here I am stuck in the middle. That's a very, very dangerous intersection. I could have been in the morgue or else in the Mercy Hospital. And I tell you, I'm not a vindictive person, but I will tell you this. Had anything happened, I would have sued the driver, and I would sue City of Lackawanna and anybody else that is supposed to time those lights, because it's awful. You don't have enough time to cross that street. As soon as if you're not right there at the corner, okay, to beat the cars from Martin Road, then you might as well forget it. You have to wait for another light.
I recognize what you're speaking of, Ms. Evaldi. Oftentimes we're driving that area and people are looking to cross different locations or different corners on that South Park, Martin Road area, and I don't know how they get across half the time. So we'll have to take another look at that, and fortunately we have crossing guards there for when the kids are let out of school. But other than that, you're right, it's a problem, and there are arrows for left-hand turns, which further complicates the ability for people to cross.
It's terrible.
Pedestrians
It's
cross.
terrible.
So we would ask our Director of Public Safety to take a look at that and speak with the police chief regarding what might be done to improve pedestrian safety at that corner. That could be a huge problem.
Okay.
I would like whoever to walk with me and stand at that corner to actually time lights.
That may, we have your information here, that may occur. I don't know how Director Morocco or Chief Packard want to handle it, but I certainly recognize your
See,
dilemma.
I walk every single day, and thank God that I was on the side of Rite Aid. Had I been on the right-hand side, I would have never seen that car coming.
Mm.
He would have definitely hit me. And as I said, I would have either been at Mercy Hospital or the morgue.
Well, we're sorry you're experiencing that, but we'll try to get you,
I do
Get
have
that looked
nightmares
at.
on that.
yeah, I can understand, absolutely.
I mean, the car was so close, I could have touched his fender.
Well, and drivers are not courteous or
Oh, I
kind
know.
any longer
I
either,
know,
so
everybody's in a hurry,
yeah, exactly.
so,
Well,
well,
Ms.
thank
Evaldi,
you.
thank you,
Thank you.
we'll have that looked at, okay?
Okay, good enough.
All right, any other council members have any comments on that? If not, we'll move on to our next speaker. Ms. Ware, Laverne Ware?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm before you again about the parking. I figured this was ample enough time, some months, that you were going to look into the one-way streets, where it would be Alcott, Odell, Holbrook, and Wilson. Because you have people that have 2 and 3 cars in one household. So that really limits the parking, okay? And by myself living on Thomas Terrace, and I'm one of the older persons that live there, is it any way, is it municipal housing's problem on the one-way streets to put like one handicap parking or a handicap parking in those, on the one-ways? So did you look into the parking for the one-way streets?
Yes, and you said it was Alcott, Odell, Holbrook, and which other?
Odell,
Wilson.
Alcott, Wilson, and Holbrook.
Wilson,
Yes.
okay.
So currently, those are not one-way streets, but you're referring to the streets that enter and exit the
Right,
Lackawanna
all
Municipal
them
Housing,
is
those are
two
one-ways.
ways. But see, if we had, like over here, what is the one right here by the bank? That's,
Victory.
okay, that's a one-way. If emergency vehicle come down, he can come straight down, okay? Even though cars is parked on both sides. But if
No
we're,
parking on both sides.
okay, but if on Alcott, if cars are parked on both sides,
They're not supposed
and
to.
traffic is coming in both ways, it hinders the emergency vehicles from coming down. But if we have everybody parking one way, when emergency vehicles come, they can come without any hindrance. That's all, because more and more people have, like I said, we have as much as people having 3 cars in one household.
Yeah.
So it's a limited parking. And is it the city or municipal housing that I should address when it comes to putting the yellow lines where you can have for handicap parking? Who does that? You,
That would be the city.
the city. Could you do a survey on that as well?
I don't know if we can do a full-blown survey, but we certainly can start the conversation to look at what the possibilities are and what the alternatives and options the city might have to address those concerns. In parking, you're right, parking has been a problem, especially in snowstorms and such. We've all been there, yeah. So, Ms. Ware, I do remember the discussion before, and I would ask again our law department and our director of public safety, as well as our commissioner of public works, to look at this a little more closely and see what alternatives we do have.
All right, thank you very
But
much.
just so we're all on the same page, citywide, there's alternative parking, and especially in the first ward, I'm very familiar with the alternative parking as I live there.
Mhm.
There's, it's a matter of not just having, cars parking on the right side of the road. However, enforcement is probably what you're addressing or would like to address.
It's not
Because
so,
the signs are there. The alternative parking is effective all year round.
I understand, but when you have a household that have 2 or 3 cars, it's limited parking. If I go to church at 8 o'clock, I might have to park by the housing authority to walk to Thomas Terrace. I shouldn't have to. If you make one-way streets, they're parked on, because you can get access from Lackawanna and Wilmouth all the way down. So that's open, you got total openings.
So are you requesting that we
For
change
some
the
one-way
streets
streets.
into one-way
Yes,
streets?
because it's too many cars. You just have to take a ride and see, it's ridiculous. It is
And
really
one-way
ridiculous.
streets prevent
I-
parking on
so-
both sides.
Yeah, I'm sorry, is that, so you're asking for a one-way street but permit parking on both sides?
Yes,
Okay.
because they're wide enough. If a fire truck or the ambulance come down, there will be no restriction. Because they can come straight through, nobody can come down and they're coming this way. So it's opens on both ends. It's not like you have to rearrange a whole street. All you have to do is just shut it down and say one way, one way. But I know it's not that simple because it's city codes. I understand that, but it's something to look into.
Well, we appreciate that and your suggestion.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next item.
Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2024.
Morano moves to adopt minutes of regular meeting October 21st, 2024 is written.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to adopt minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2024 is written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. Departmental reports 1 through 3.
Morano moves to receive and file departmental reports 1 through 3 inclusive.
Already second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti, to receive and file departmental reports 1 through 3. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. City attorney requests the city council approve the resolution to have installed license plate reader equipment for law enforcement purposes. The project is funded by the 2023 Governor of New York Grant for New Technology and Equipment to prevent and solve crimes, improve public safety, apportioned and approved for the city of Lackawanna and the Lackawanna Police Department.
Morano moves to receive and file act on resolution.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to receive and file act on resolution. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike? Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0. A resolution regarding license plate reader equipment to be placed at Ridge Road, at Abbott Road eastbound, New York State Route 5 at Odell Street northbound, South Park at Ridge Road northbound, Ridge Road at New York State Route 5 westbound, Ridge Road at Electric Avenue westbound, and authorizing the chief of police to sign with the concurrence of the city attorney and the city council and any and all documents related to this project, and to direct the city clerk to transmit electronically the ordinance to the Lackawanna Police Department for processing and inclusion to law enforcement equipment application agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation.
Morano moves to adopt resolution as written.
Already second.
Motion by Morano, second by Moretti, to adopt resolution as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano? Carried
Yes.
5-0.
Moving on to any table items, old business, would open up to any table items. Anyone?
Council President, we had a discussion two meetings ago in regards to the banning of Airbnbs and short-term rentals in the city of Lackawanna. We did table that item for further discussion. Myself, City Council Member Carl Anderson, Attorney Vaughn, and Director of Development Chuck Clark have been in extensive conversation in regards to this. We're weighing options. We're looking at other cities and municipalities and seeing the route that they're taking, the struggles that they're facing, a lot of complications. We would also like to further that discussion, and not that I'm reintroducing that particular topic to the meeting today, but I would like to express my intent to do so for the next upcoming meeting, to have that on the agenda as a tabled item up for discussion, and with the participation of the citizens who may show some concerns, either pros or cons, any questions that they may have. So for transparency reasons and for engagement reasons, we would like to bring that to the table, or off the table, to the next meeting,
Right.
November 18th.
Thank you, and of course, council thanks you, Councilmember Muflahi, Councilmember Anderson, Chuck Clark, and John Gahn for the extensive amount of work that you all have put in on this issue. And direction will be given, or is given, to the city clerk to provide an agenda item for the purpose of, first, by motion, to take the subject table item off the table, and then to have an up or down vote on the proposed new legislation. Attorney Gahn, is there anything else that you think is needed on that, procedure-wise?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Anything else on that table item, or any other table items? If not, the council member, 3rd Ward, Moretti, has the floor.
Let me pull this up. Yeah, I just want to make an announcement that on this Friday, the Lackawanna Senior High School would like to invite all veterans to join them in a special celebration. This will take place at 8 a.m. at the senior high school in the cafeteria. And there'll be a breakfast, and then followed by a ceremony in the auditorium between 8:30 and 9:30. All veterans are welcome, and anybody else that would like to attend. And this will be at 500 Martin Road School. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Moretti. Anyone else care to be heard, council members? Not, Morano moves to adjourn.
Muflahi seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe to adjourn meeting. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes,
Carried 5-0.
thank you. Meeting adjourned.